recording, going to our origin, drop down, drop up, should be synced. Alright, hello and welcome once again everyone to that topic we've been talking about for a while, and that is constraints. And this one we're going to go over what are constraints and how to go about using them. We're going to kind of simplify the uses for them and kind of go over it in a simple manner, this very first one. So basically what a constraint is a piece of your geometry that is in a fixed location. It is bad practice to create lines that are not tied down to something, whereas if you want to change something later on down the road, it could throw off the geometry. If you change a shape and it's not connected and planted in place and it's not tied down to anything, it can cause some serious issues with your design. So constraints are very important in keeping everything tied down to a central place. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get some examples going here. First we'll start off with a line, and we always want to start on an origin. Once you start something on an origin, it should automatically be constrained to whatever else you click. So we're going to go ahead and click a line and drag it across. We're then going to click and hit escape key. Okay, so now you can see we have this line here, and here's our origin. So if I were to take my mouse and to click and drag it, I can't do it. It is stuck there. It is in place. Although if I go to this one, I can drag it around to wherever I desire, because it's not fixed. There's no details there to tell it that that is where it's at. Typically when you go to constrain something, it has to be tied to a dimension somehow, basically telling it that is the value of what it is. Okay, so we have this line here, and it is not in a fixed location. So what you can do is you can go to your dimension and your create, and I believe it's down here. You can also hit D for short, which is typically what I will use. We'll hit D, and you will click here, and if you bring it out this way, parallel to the direction it's going, it'll give you a dimension. However, you typically want to go in a left and right and up and down fashion. So what will this do once I place the dimension here? It will lock it to that value. So basically from left to right, I can no longer move this. As you can see, I'm moving my mouse left and right, and it's not doing anything because it is set in that position. I can move it up and down, but I cannot move it left and right because it is stuck to this 50 millimeter. So if we want to determine a certain value, let's say we want to put it here, we will then go to dimension this again. We will click and we will pull it to our left and right, left or right. We'll then click and put in that as our value. You now have a constrained line that cannot be moved no matter what you do. You can click it all you want, you can drag it all you want, but you can't do anything. It is locked in place, and that is a very good practice. When you make a sketch, you typically will want it to be tied down to something. You want it to be committed to a certain spot. This will make a lot more sense when we go on to other constraints. Okay, so that kind of sums up this tutorial with what basically is a constraint. We will go into more detail of these constraints that you typically will use, how to use them efficiently, and why you would use them. Not all constraints are done by just simply measuring. You can also use these tools up here to constrain. Then we'll talk about those in our next video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.